KRUM Edge of Darkness is a hack and slash developed and published by HA Studio Limited. This game is very independent and it's like an old school hack and slash RPG, you know, the ones where you go around the world and you can jump around, you can pick up stuff, you know, one of those really old games like those titles right here that the developers used as examples. Well, unfortunately, the biggest flaw of this game is that it's full of glitches and it's not polished at all. The game is one of the most simple and uninteresting stories of the year. You are a guy, a farmer or something, and orcs happen. They arrive, they kill everyone in your village, and you go on a quest for revenge to avenge your family and avenge your father and avenge your uncle and save the kingdom. Okay, I guess. And there are orcs everywhere, and skeletons, and titans, and weird looking monsters. It's a very weird story, and it's not really all that interesting, and it's not even all that in depth, to be honest. But if you like fantasy stories like the older times, you might find it interesting. In my opinion, it was not all that fun, so not all that great. Graphically, the game doesn't look all that bad, but it's full of glitches. Right now, you're looking at some of the worst glitches I've found in the game, and these are just some of them. It's not even all of them. And the game has a lot of problems. While it does look relatively fine, some of the character models are really repetitive, especially for the enemies. Some of the environments feel lifeless, feel boring. All of the insides of the small houses that you find are exactly the same. And it's not overall all that interesting to look at. Even though there are a few vistas that are pretty nice, you can actually see the bottom of the sandbox, which is horrible. For example, when you're walking on a bridge, you can look down and you will see pitch black darkness, but not the darkness of a really long fall. It's the darkness of a skybox that's unfinished. And that's really disappointing in my opinion, because it could have been like one of those older games, but unfortunately it reminded me way too much of Dark Shadow's Army of Evil, which is one of the worst games I've ever played. And if a game makes me think again of that, it loses a lot of points. A lot of points. The gameplay, they compared it to Diablo meets Dark Souls. And if by that they mean fighting orcs and other monsters, having some loot, and the possibility to pick up any weapon that the enemy loses when you kill him, and having, I don't know what, bad control design, because it's not like Dark Souls, which are very tight controls and you have to carefully plan your every move. In this game it's pretty damn weird. You have some combos, sure, but in the end you're still gonna mash your attack button, and when you're running out of stamina you can just move a few steps back, the stamina fully regenerates in a couple of seconds, and then you can keep mashing the attack button, and usually it goes like this. Press attack, you hit the enemy. Press attack again, the enemy parries. Press attack again, you hit the enemy. Press attack again, you parry. Press attack again, you hit the enemy. Press attack again, he parries. It's boring and repetitive. And it started out fairly fine. I mean, while I was playing I was like, okay, so far this is like an old school hack and slash game. I was enjoying it. But after the 5th or 6th fight, and after we changed enemies, and after I got different weapons, and after I leveled up a bit, I noticed that the combat situations are exactly the same. And you do have long range weapons like crossbows and bows, but they're useless. They're literally useless, and you don't have that many arrows with you, so in the end you will just stick or with your sword or with your axe or pitchfork or whatever, and you will just keep mashing your buttons. I do like that they added some combos, that's fine, but the entire game felt extremely repetitive, and that's not fun. And also there are some glitches in the combat. Sometimes you don't even hit the enemies, sometimes enemies just flat out kill you from a distance. One time I was just walking, my character exploded, like you're seeing right now, here it is. Look, my character just exploded. And I don't know why. It just happened. I don't know why, and I probably never will. The game is not challenging, it's actually very frustrating, for a simple reason, the AI. There are only two types of AI, the one that I talked about earlier, the one where you can hit, then he parries, then you hit him again, then he parries again, rinse and repeat, and there's the other one, which is way worse, the attack spammer. A guy who just keeps attacking and attacking and attacking. Then he runs out of stamina, you can attack him a couple of times, and then he keeps attacking you again and again. And when he hits you once, it's impossible to parry all of his attacks, and you will die, with your head always falling apart. And that's it. There is literally no other challenge to the game. Nothing at all. The game suffers from a load of sound glitches, horrible voice acting. In a couple of sections it was fine, it was cheesy, but the main character sometimes talks like he's a computer, you know? Like, for, I don't know, it felt really artificial, not like an actual human being was talking into a microphone. It sounded more like a software that created voices, and that's weird, and I don't know why they did that. And the sound effects, some of them are fine, some of them are missing, the usual stuff in indie games that you find nowadays, and I'm just sad because the soundtrack was fine for the most part, but there are some situations, for example, you have the calm, soft soundtrack, and then poof, an enemy literally appears in front of you, and the epic combat soundtrack plays, and there is still the calm soundtrack in the background. And while you're fighting, there are these two soundtracks playing simultaneously, and when you finish the fight, one soundtrack ends and the other one still continues, and that was really bothering me quite a lot, and I had to actually take away all of the music from the game because it was really boring and frustrating. The game doesn't offer any replayability. There are no Steam achievements at the moment, there are no in-game trophies or achievements, there aren't secrets to be found, or at least that I know of, and there are no difficulty settings, so that is the game. You will finish it in probably 4 to 5 hours, it all depends on your skills. Because other than that, I don't think I will ever play this game again, and for good reasons. Overall, KRUM Edge of Darkness is a very sad game, because it had potential, but by not being a polished experience, by having repetitive combat, by having enemies that all feel the same, only with more or less health, it was just a really tedious experience, and it felt more like a chore while playing it, which is pretty disappointing, I'm sorry, and I got to be honest, and this is what I experienced. Maybe some other people will enjoy the repetitiveness of this game, but it felt really stiff and unpolished. Yeah, that's the word for this game, it's unpolished, doesn't feel like it's a finished product. So guys, are you interested in buying KRUM Edge of Darkness? Have you played it? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.